Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Gerard Turbide. I'm the Vice President for Enrollment Services at Wells College. We're so happy to have you with us today, and welcome to our virtual showcase on business and entrepreneurship at Wells College. Wells is a very special place. It's a very special place to me, certainly, a nationally recognized college set in this peaceful little village right on the shore of Cayuga Lake, the longest of the Finger Lakes, and it is an absolutely beautiful day in the Finger Lakes region of New York State today. The sun is shining and the sky is blue. Every college has a mission, and as you are thinking about which college to attend, I'm going to encourage you to check out each institution's mission. Understand it, understand where that mission will take you. Wells College's mission is very simple and straightforward and timeless. We teach students to think critically, reason wisely, act humanely as they cultivate meaningful lives. And now more than ever, organizations and people with that mission are essential. Wells College will offer you unmatched personal attention. We have a 9-to-1 student to faculty ratio. We have small classes, a campus on which everybody seems to know each other by first name. You can create your own major at Wells. It truly is an individual experience for each person. Small is powerful. We have only about 400 students on our campus, so we can do everything one student at a time. We can guarantee you'll have close and meaningful connections with your faculty. We can assure you that you'll have access to our resources and programs, and we will hear your voice in and out of the classroom. We care about you. We care about each of our students and every one of our alumni. And we hope you will join the Wells College family, where your experience will be not just about being a member of your incoming class, but being part of a broad group where every student, every faculty member, every alum welcomes you. And they all consider Wells to be their home. Our curriculum goes way beyond the liberal arts, blending real-world experiences. Every student at Wells pursues internships of one type or another, and you can even do your first internship at the end of your first semester. We have an innovative business program, as well as our programs in the health sciences, which offer interdisciplinary, career-oriented experiences that prepare our students for success. And we'll work with you to figure it out. If you're undecided, we have an exploratory program. Each student works individually and closely with their faculty advisor to chart their path. This is a community with over 150 years of history and traditions. We have a real living honor code that our students sign their name to when they enter, and our alumni seek to take the principles of our honor code out into the world. Ethical decision-making, ethical behavior, especially important in the world of business. Ask any Wells student or graduate whether they're odd or even, and you'll quickly see how our history and our traditions bind and connect generations of Wellsians. You're on the verge of making the most important decision of your life, which college to attend. You want to make sure that you make the right decision. Wells College offers tremendous value, a nationally recognized private college combining liberal arts with real-world experience on a breathtaking campus environment in a small and inclusive community that is surprisingly diverse. And Wells College's net cost is among the lowest of like institutions. So of course, we were hoping by this time you'd be standing on our campus for your campus visit. We're not social distancing, we're just physical distancing. So we're going to be social today. We're going to have a meaningful conversation about Wells College and your bright future. Let's talk about what it's like to be a student here, what it's like to be a member of the Wells family. We've assembled an amazing panel of current students, alumni, faculty, and we want to take the opportunity now to introduce you to them. And then from there, we'll get started on our program. So let's start with Eliza.
Hi, everyone. I'm Eliza Schwab, and I'm the class of 2018. And why Wells? So I chose Wells, first of all, because I came from a small community. And so coming to Wells, I got recruited through the volleyball team. So on my first overnight visit, I totally fell in love with the culture and community that it has. It's a small, tight-knit community. and it really felt like home. So that's why I chose Wells.
Thank you, Eliza. Mary.
Hi, I'm Mary Weber, class of 2017. I am also an admissions counselor at Wells College currently. I chose Wells because of the community, because of the size, and it was very familiar from where I'm from, and how Wells really just represented itself on my campus tour. It was just amazing, and it was the place I wanted to be.
Thanks, Mary. Scott.
Hi, everybody. Scott Litvin, class of 2018. I'm down in Houston, Texas right now, work for ExxonMobil, and I picked Wells also because I got recruited through volleyball. And I really like, and I think you'll find this from a lot of people, is the family aspect of everyone super close, and everyone's a tight-knit family. And that really helped with going forward in the future for your post graduate endeavors.
Thanks, Scott. Zach.
Hey everybody, I'm Zach Darpino, class of 2020. And why Wells for me, similar to Scott and Eliza, I was recruited for basketball. And on my first visit, I was kind of exposed to the smaller class size and stuff like that. And it's a lot of stuff that Gerard touched on that was very attractive to me and kind of drew me in. That close-knit family atmosphere was really attractive to me, and I kind of fell in love with it on my visit, and here I am. It's graduating now, so yeah.
Thanks, Zach. Erin.
Hi, I'm Professor Ryan, and I am an assistant professor in the business department. I actually have a PhD in sustainability and one of the reasons why I came here is because Wells allows me to teach the business courses that I love, but also connect in my interest in sustainability. And I love Wells because of the close relationships that I have with my students.
Thank you. Jehan.
Hi, everyone. I'm Professor Jehan Damit, and I'm the Associate Professor of Business. And I've been teaching at Wells for the past 7 to 8 years. And I like Wells very much because of the opportunity that I have to interact with the students. I would say just because of the size of the small classes, I get to interact with them on almost one-on-one basis. I'm happy about that.
As are your students, I'm sure. David Dames is not yet with us. He, like several of our representatives of our panel, are taking time out of their workday to participate. And so he will pop back in soon. And when he does, we'll get you connected with him. So now we're going to go to the director of our program, Kevin. Just need to unmute yourself, Kevin.
How's that? Can you hear me now? I'm sorry. Thank you, Gerard. I'm Kevin Miles, Director of the Sullivan Center for Business and Entrepreneurship here at Wells. My background includes a career in business with positions in a global corporation, a family business, and then as founder of several businesses of my own. While working, I was also a visiting professor at 2 universities, an entrepreneur in residence, and a professor of practice before coming to Wells 8 years ago, actually shortly after, just a couple of months after Professor Demuth did. I'd like to first point one thing out, or in addition to what Gerard said, he spoke about the mission, and that's very important. And for you business leaders, one thing when you're planning a business, or when you will be in the future, the foundation is very important. Your strategy, and then you build on that. The mission is extremely important. But the foundation here at Wells College is very unique. The college was founded by Henry Wells. Some of you may know who he is, but Henry Wells was the co-founder of American Express and also the founder of Wells Fargo. In fact, in one of the slides, the stagecoach that you see is the only remaining original, authentic Wells Fargo stagecoach in the world. So we have this great foundation with a great business leader. And most colleges and universities can't point to one person or one unique situation as being their founding and their foundation. So that's another way that Wells is very unique. Business is consistently one of the top majors for job opportunities. The US News and World Report recently reported that 7 of the top 10 job opportunities are in business categories. And some of those categories are like marketing, management, entrepreneurship, accounting, data analytics, and many others. Upon successful completion of the program, students will earn a Bachelor of Science degree in business. And students, while they're here, will also be able to choose from a variety of elective courses through which you can focus your business education. And then there'll be quite a few minors that you can choose from, which I think the panel may touch on in a few minutes. While at Wells, students will gain a global perspective of business in this global economy. And of course, that's very important. Students will develop an entrepreneurial outlook, which is critical today, since about 75% of new jobs are created by small and entrepreneurial businesses. And for those who choose to work in a large corporation, such as Scott had mentioned that he does, this experience will allow you to develop entrepreneurial skills that are invaluable in large global organizations. And who knows, like a number of our graduates, maybe someday you'll leave that small business or large business you work for and start your own business. You will have the skill set to do that and to work in either environment. One of the skill sets that employers identify as most important is leadership. A common thread in our courses is the development of leadership skills. And in the past week, I've heard from 3 alumni who happen to be first in their training programs at 3 different large corporations. And those accomplishments for all 3 came with large raises, they advised. They each attributed their success to their Wells education and to their critical thinking skills and the leadership skills that they developed while at Wells. Each business student participates in experiential learning opportunities. And those opportunities and experiences help students quite often to focus on a particular career. Students can develop their own internship experience, or they can work with their advisor, one of the professors that are on with us today, or they can work with me to identify an opportunity, maybe by location, by industry, by company. And so some students have completed internships in their hometowns or in Aurora here, or while others have gone to places like Washington, D.C., or Atlanta, Philadelphia, New York City, and San Francisco for their internships. And still others have gone abroad to Costa Rica, Italy, and China. Hopefully, Mary will talk a little bit about her internship. Communication is considered one of the most important qualities in a successful business and in a successful business leader. And one way to develop communication skills would be through networking. Through our mentoring and networking initiative, business students are mentored by alumni and by other business leaders. And you may hear more of that from our panelists today also. At Wells College, you will receive an excellent education based on leading edge practices from a faculty that is active in business. Most undergraduate business students begin their careers upon graduation. However, some students plan to pursue professional licenses or certifications, pursue research, or careers requiring advanced degrees. And some institutions with which we have relationships or articulation agreements for students who choose to pursue an MBA or a Master of Science include the University of Rochester, Syracuse University, Cornell University, Lehigh University, Clarkson University. In addition to the wide variety of courses offered at Wells, you can expand your choices with courses offered at Cornell University, at Ithaca College, and at Cayuga Community College through our cross-registration agreements. Students in the business major at Wells College can expect rigorous core courses, a variety of elective courses, exciting minors, internships, academic and professional support, hands-on learning, and leading-edge business knowledge. Thank you. I'll now turn it over to the panel.
Thank you, Kevin. That was great. Let me tell you a little bit about how this is going to work in terms of our panel. So we have our panelists here, of course, who are happy and ready to talk with you and answer your questions. If you have a question you'd like to submit, you can do that via the Q&A function. You're also welcome to engage in chat with members of our admissions team who are here to interact with you directly. And of course, after this program is over, we want to continue the conversation with you. So you can feel free to connect with us individually. We'd also encourage you to take our online tour, explore our website, and learn more about our academic programs there. So I'm going to throw out a question to our alumni, and I'm actually interested in each of them answering, and maybe we might start with Scott. And Scott, my question is, maybe if you could tell us a bit about what you're doing currently and how your experience at Wells prepared you for that.
Yeah, so first of all, Wells prepared me mainly for grad school, which would be a why Wells that I would tell people is how prepared that I was for grad school. Wells gave me, well, my experience at Wells, I was able to get a full ride to grad school, which was really big. University of Rochester, one of the top business schools for grad school. And from there, it was a one-year master's in accounting program. And I got a full-time job offer 2 months into my master's program for ExxonMobil. So right now I'm working as an accountant for ExxonMobil. And I just honestly, everything at Wells has prepared me for grad school life and then, you know, post-school life. So everything you do, you might not know right now just coming out of high school or even transferring. But even like all your workday life is in small groups. And the good thing about Wells is for 4 years, you'll be in small groups. And, you know, at bigger schools, you might have a group of 250 students in a classroom. And that's not really going to help get that interpersonal skills developed that you're going to be able to utilize in job interviews, just normal workday life, work groups, and everything like that. So really just everything at Wells has prepared me. And I've gotten already a lot of compliments about my presentation skills, communication skills, and everything else, just because we are always working together. I'm never going more than 5 minutes without either meeting with someone or talking to someone else that's part of my team.
Thank you. Mary, how about you?
Hi. So kind of like Scott, I use presentation skills and communication skills all the time. Currently, I'm a Wells College admissions counselor. Wells definitely prepared me for this because first, I have an experience that I can share with all of you wonderful students. And I also learned that using my degree in something that I'm passionate about is really important. I love Wells, I love the nonprofit world, and I love working with students in higher education, and using my business degree every day in that process is really amazing, and doing something that I absolutely love and that I'm passionate about is really important.
Thank you, Mary. Eliza, how about you?
Yeah, so currently right now, I'm working on my family farm, the family business. Right now, I'm currently 1 year into my master's degree in business education. And in between, so I graduated in 2018. I took a year off. Actually, in that summer, Wells connected me through a program through Hobart Williams Smith with a business incubator program. And we kind of helped started that. And myself and another Wells student went there for the summer, lived in Geneva. And then I took a year and I went back to the family business, and Wells definitely shaped me into becoming like a leader, definitely organized, and the work ethic as well through the internships Wells have given me through the grind and other opportunities back at home with internships. I would say those experiences really shaped me as who I am today, and just everyday life skills. Wells has really given me everything, and Of course, the networking, as Kevin mentioned, through your professors, you meet so many Wells alums and other business professionals throughout your time at Wells. So all the connections have really helped me as well. And yeah.
So Eliza, you mentioned the grind, which I'm not sure all of our viewers may understand what that is. I will share that it has been instrumental for me as a new member of the Wells community to meet students, to meet faculty, and also to stay awake throughout the entire day. So, but I'm going to look to somebody else on the panel to talk a bit about the grind and why that matters for the business program at Wells.
Yeah, so the Grind is a student-run coffee shop. And during my junior and senior year at Wells, I was involved with the management team. So pretty much the students who are on the management team hire all the employees that work at the coffee shop right on campus in Zabriskie Hall. And so on the management team, there's about, when I was on the management team, there's about 4 or 5 total people that literally run the business. So I was part of like the manager and marketing side. There's accounting, marketing, inventory, and then HR as well, human resources. So there's a ton. I learned so much from that. You're literally running your own business. Everyone always goes there. You learn time management skills, leadership, everything in between. It was such a great experience. And then Kevin is the mentor through that all. So he was a great help through that. And definitely that is a huge resume builder. And it really helped who I am today, going back to the family farm or any other business. So.
Thank you. Zach, I know that you're currently involved, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it too, and maybe some of the lessons that you've learned from your role with the Grind.
Yeah, so I'm currently the human resource manager for the Grind. And, you know, especially during these times of uncertainty, you know, you're being tested and you're being put into these situations where you're going to learn. And, you know, Kevin does a great job of helping the whole management team and the baristas of the Grind and, you know, kind of finding their way. But I mean, you know, we do everything from, like Eliza touched on, from interviewing applicants, interviewing people for the management team. And during all of this, Kevin and I and other management team members, we've been conducting interviews via, you know, Google Meets or Zoom. And we've been doing all of that. And it's really an opportunity like no other. Like I know Kevin could talk that have inquired to us about, you know, the student ran business, and they've looked at how we started it and how we modeled it. And it's really just a great experience. And the experiences that I've gained through it are, you know, they're so valuable to me, and I feel very much prepared to go on into the real world. And it's like Eliza said, it's a huge resume builder for sure.
Thank you. And it keeps me functioning all day. I just want to repeat that.
George,
we have a question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kevin.
May I add something before you move on? The interesting thing about the Grind is, so there's a group of usually 16 or 17 students. So it has an impact on campus. It's a good number every semester. But the interesting thing is relative to the management team, when they graduate and when they list that on their resume as a manager or general manager for this business, every person who's called me to do a reference check on these graduates in the past, this is since the beginning, has asked about that. And they've traditionally started by saying, well, they listed themselves as a manager, but I'm sure they were just a shift manager or something. And when we explain to them how the business runs, and it's truly student run, they make all decisions. They may bounce an idea off of me if they think, well, I'm not sure if this makes sense, but it's their decisions and they make them. As a result of it, every student who's been involved in the management team, who's listed that on a resume, when they checked references, they always asked about that. And every student has gotten the job when they called for the reference. They were so impressed. There were some business owners who made remarks such as, I can't believe this. There's no one in my business that has the experience that can say that they've run a business, that they've had to make payroll, that they've had to make important inventory decisions. So it's really a real working lab for the students where they can try the things that they're learning and Professor Ryan's classes and Professor Demit's classes and Professor Wanzer's, and so they try these things there. So it's a great opportunity.
Thank you, Kevin. And we do have a question from the audience about jobs and internships. Can internships lead directly to jobs? Maybe any anecdotes that folks want to share about that. And then also the question about when can you do your first internship?
If
I can, oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Sorry,
go ahead,
go ahead,
Zach,
Kevin.
and then we'll go to Kevin.
Okay. I was just going to say this past summer, so my minor was actually sport management, which, you know, is related to business, obviously in the management field. This past summer, I was a director of sports for a local YMCA, and I was given the full reins to run my full budget and have an operating budget and purchase things that I might need for the program for the summer. And it started off as an unpaid internship, but, you know, 2 or 3 weeks into the internship, they offered me a full-time job to work there and run this program and maybe become the director of the whole camp. And just for that question, you know, internships can definitely lead to job opportunities, and that's what internships are for. And I think that's what Wells does so, you know, good, is they prepare you, and they do have the mandatory 2 internships that you must complete to graduate. And, you know, it's very helpful. And those internships really are the backbone to your college experience for going into the working world. So.
Just briefly, the 2 of the 3 students who I mentioned who contacted me within the past week, one was last night, as a matter of fact, they graduated, the one 4 years ago and the other 2 years ago. But those 2, both of their jobs were as a result of internships. And one was actually offered the position at the beginning of her junior year after working there the summer after the sophomore year. And the other one, the other former student, she was offered the position the summer before the start of her senior year. So they had both worked there, and the companies were that impressed. Both of them are international companies. The one is the 2nd largest privately owned business in the world. They have over 100,000 employees, and both of these students not only had job offers while they were still in school as a result of their internships, but they were both in number 1 in their management trainee classes.
Thank you. So I'm thinking about some students are of the mind that I really need to go to a big institution in an urban place to get a really genuine kind of business experience, and especially as it relates to the global world of business. And yet, it seems to me like we're really well connected across the world. And I'm wondering if we can talk a little bit about, you know, a business on a global scale and how Wells is connected to that, from study abroad opportunities to our faculty to the work that we're doing, anything that pops to mind there. And I know, Mary, you've had a great experience abroad, and maybe we want to start off with you talking about that a little bit.
Absolutely. While I was at Wells, I not only studied business, I also studied international studies. So it really helped me work with international businesses and understanding the global atmosphere as a whole. So during this process, I decided to study abroad in a foreign country. I actually went to San Jose, Costa Rica, and during my time there, I actually had an internship with a nonprofit company. I was able to work with them and help them do their social media and their marketing, but it was a really wonderful experience because I not only got to work in a business and have that hands-on experience, but I also got to see how other countries work and how their daily routines and how they perceive working in business and their structures is really different. And having that global connection was amazing. And Wells helped me prepare for that, as well as helping me get that internship. I worked with both my business professors as well as our study abroad office, and they were able to connect me to the right people in order to find an internship. I actually had a choice out of 3 different ones, and that experience really encouraged my education and built me up in a way that I'm able to really see how every country is a little bit different in how we all work.
Both of our faculty are members are nodding their heads. I wonder if either one of you want to add something about that, or about Wells College's business program in terms of the approach with considering the global aspects of business.
Yes, actually, I do my research publications, and I present most of my research papers in international conferences in the Europe, Asia, to all the other areas in the world. So what I do essentially is, as a faculty member, I learn a lot attending all these international conferences. So if there's anything that I can bring back to my classes based on the cultural implications or theory, how the theory is applied, and what was the outcome of these applications, and I bring them back and share with the class. Students are really appreciative about that one. They enjoy a lot when we bring something like that from the outside world. And also, the other thing that I do in order to support that global aspect, I use most of the international cases in my classes. I teach marketing, and then then management, and also brand management. So I bring a lot of international cases to local classes. They enjoy a lot. I think that helps them a lot for them to see a bigger picture and connect it to the global aspect. Thank you.
I would second that. As a student that has experience working with those cases, and how our business program really is case-based, we learn based on seeing other businesses work, and our professors use real life experiences to teach us. And being in a class that Professor G has taught like that, it's really helpful, and it's engaging, because you're not only learning about what's happening here or in your backyard, but all around the world.
So I mentioned earlier about, Wells College is a small institution, and that small is powerful. One of the dynamics that happens, and I'm looking for students, alumni, or faculty to comment on this, is actually you wind up taking at least a couple of courses with the same professor. So professors get to know you over time, maybe in a bit different way, and in a greater depth than at some other institutions. I'm wondering if anybody can comment on how that's affected their experience as a student, or from the faculty perspective, what that means to you in the process of teaching.
I mean, I could comment on that for sure. I know all three of the professors in here could also agree on what I'm about to say, but there's been times where I've been working on assignments from one of these professors, and I've contacted them as late as 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And that's just that connection that you can't get at a bigger university. I know Professor Aaron, specifically when I was working on my senior thesis, there was nights where I was texting her at 11:30 at night, asking her questions, and she was very responsive. And same with Professor Jehan and Professor Kevin. They were very responsive, and that's just something you flat out cannot get at a big, large university. And these small class sizes, you build these bonds and you build these relationships with your professor that really help with your education.
I'll add on to what Zach said too. I totally agree with what he said. And you really get the one-on-one. You can walk into any one of these professors' office, or anyone on campus. You can just walk right in. They know your name. You can come in, even if it's about classes or just personal life. They're always there for you through mentorship, and they just will listen to you and then give you great advice as well, whether it be classes, business, personal, anything. They're always there to listen to you and talk to you. And that's what's really special about Wells, and what I really love about Wells.
So I really enjoy watching the students grow and mature and have their aha moments. I really appreciate that. And yes, I don't know why I'm up to 11:30 sometimes, but I do enjoy those personal connections, and you don't get that at other schools. If you're have a question, I had one this morning. A student texted me, an advisee, and I could respond to him and help him. And I felt that was very satisfying. I don't think other students at bigger schools have that attentive detail in their advising or getting those questions answered. And then there's a lot of anxiety associated with those unanswered questions.
And I just want to say, from an alumni standpoint and having all of these professors at one point or another, the advice doesn't stop after you graduate. They're still a part of my life. They still want to know what's going on. They contact me, I contact them. Still talking to Kevin all the time, almost every day. And having those relationships built when we first started on the campus and then continuing is just fantastic. And I really appreciate my Wells community.
This is a great moment to welcome David to our panel. Welcome, David. Let me offer you an opportunity to say hello and tell our audience a bit about your connection to Wells and what you're doing right now.
All right, thank you. Hi guys, my name is David Aames. I'm from the class of 2019, so I just graduated last year. And I chose Wells mainly, the campus is gorgeous. If you've never been to the campus, you have to visit. And it was a very, the environment was very inviting. And just knowing that I was gonna have that one-on-one time with professors and also play basketball as well, that was like really critical in my decision to choose Wells, so yeah.
Thank you and welcome. And just as soon as David came in, Scott ran away, and it's not because they don't like each other. Scott's also at work, and he gave us advance notice he'd be checking out for a bit and then probably coming back. So we have other things going on in the Sullivan Center. We have a business plan, kind of incubator, and other ways that students can be entrepreneurial. I'm wondering if somebody can talk a bit about that, maybe some of the interesting business concepts that have come up over time, and what students learn from that kind of experience.
I'll talk about it. So I was always involved with, so at Wells, they do a Be Your Own Boss business competition right here at Wells. There's always plenty of participants, at least over 20 every year or more. I know my sophomore year, I actually did an internship with the Sullivan Center to help kind of put together the business competition and help Kevin direct and organize everything. And with the business competition, they always have like a week of entrepreneurship. And so they bring in guest speakers, and you can always go out to like dinner with them after or before and get to network with them. And they've brought in really cool, relatable people from the business world that are entrepreneurs or in the business world. And so then I helped with that my sophomore year with an internship with that. And then my junior year is really when I got into the entrepreneurship, and I participated in the Be Your Own Boss competition, actually with my father. They have like 3 different categories. They have for-profits, like products, services, nonprofit, and family friend category. So I was actually fortunate to have my dad come along with me, and we were able to present on that. So you usually do like a 5-minute presentation on a business that you created yourself. So I'm from Apple Farm, so I was able to do a whole business plan on how to open up a hard cider company with that. So I was fortunate. I got first place at the Wells competition. And then after that, you get invited to like a regional competition. So I then went to Syracuse University, and there they have it set up just a little different. I was in the product category, and there's several different categories depending on the business that you make and create. And I ended up getting first place in the product category at the regional competition. And then through all this, the mentorship between all the professors at Wells is huge. they're the ones that are helping you, supporting you, and guiding you through everything, the presentation skills, everything. And so between that, every competition, you kind of had to grow a little bit more. Your presentation got a little bit longer. So you're always refining your ideas and becoming innovative and creative with that. And then after the regional competition, I was able to go to the New York State competition, where Kevin can maybe talk more about this after. There's hundreds of different entrepreneurs there that are in college, and as well as different categories that you can be under to present. So I was in the product category again, and I won the People's Choice Award in that category. So this all happened during my junior year, and then I helped mentor different students my senior year. And definitely this was like a huge experience for me. It built my personal skills. Definitely, like we talked about earlier, your presentation skills. You definitely build a broad range of skills that will lead you out into the real world and really shape who you are today. So that was definitely a huge experience for me, and I'm so grateful Wells was able to do that for me. And hopefully I touched on everything. Kevin can add anything if I forgot.
It sounds
or anyone
amazing.
else. I might have forgot something, but
I do want to give Kevin an opportunity to maybe brag about you a little bit more or something based on all of that. It sounds unusual to me in a good way to be the first place winner at another university's competition, but I don't know, that's not my world. Kevin, anything to add there?
Yes, I always like to brag about Eliza's accomplishments. So first of all, the Syracuse was the Central New York region finals in which Eliza competed. There were 18 universities there, including Wells, 17 plus Wells. So there were students there from even from West Point, from Clarkson University, a couple of the SUNYs and so forth. And in 6 divisions, there were 6 divisions, and in her division, Eliza took first place. That year, the thing that was unique that got some of the other teams upset is the other 5 awards were all first place, was all Syracuse teams. So 3 years in a row, Syracuse and Wells, out of 18 teams, were the only first place finishers there. Then we switched, and we actually got invited to another regional final the next year, which was in Rochester, and our students won there too. The impressive thing is that Eliza may not even know the exact number is when this starts with the regionals and working their way to the regional finals and the state finals. It started that year, Eliza's years, with 1,810 teams from New York State colleges and universities. I forget how many it was, like 170 colleges and universities, including community colleges. And so when you think that it whittles down from 17 or 1,800 teams down to 100 that get invited to the state finals in 6 categories, so roughly 15 per category. And for Eliza to take 4th place was really impressive from a small school like Wells. But it really goes to show what our students really learn. And she remarked about the professors, and I believe that all of the professors helped her in different ways as she, wanted to get input as far as her marketing plan and her strategy and her presentation skills and so forth. And so every year that we've gone every year that we've been invited, which was six years. Every year we've had at least one team take first place. The one year we sent 6 teams, and we had 4 place finishers, 2 first and 2 second place teams. And so the students, it really goes to show the education and the development of skills that all of the students in our program learn when they're at Wells. And as Scott had mentioned, and I didn't know that, but I've heard this from other alumni too, at their businesses, whether large or small, people make comments about how good they are at presentation or at carrying themselves or their leadership skills. And that really is a direct reflection on the program at Wells, the faculty at Wells, and the students here.
Thank you, Kevin. What about finance? the world of finance, stock trading, and all of that? What does Wells have in place for students interested in that realm of business?
Well, I can speak on that a little bit. There's a personal financial management course that I've actually been the TA for the last 2 years. And I think it's a really great course. Wells recently made it like a required class for all students to take. And I think that's one of the best decisions that the school could have made, simply because it teaches you for things that, regular education might not prepare you for, such as taxes, investing, buying a car, buying a house, whether or not to rent or buy, things of that nature in the finance world. And, there's lots of people in the classes, like the 2 classes I was TA for this past semester, there was a bunch of freshmen and there was a bunch of seniors in it. It's not, so you're kind of like with your whole community, you're learning about things that everyone's kind of nervous about once you leave school. Because I know personally coming out of high school, I was like, well, that's great that I learned how to do calculus, but now I don't know how to do my taxes. So that's one of those classes where it's like, it prepares you for all those things, prepares you for the unknown and for the real world.
And also talk about another class that I took at Wells, corporate finance, that kind of put that on a larger scale. In this class, we talked about investing, how corporations use finances, and we actually were able to use our classroom with a stock market clock in it and really fully understand that part of the business world on a larger scale, even though we were in classes of like around 13 students. So it was really intimate, but we are able to understand the world on a larger scale.
I think to pick up from where Zach left off, I was also the TA with him for personal financial management. And I can remember being a freshman taking that class, and just coming from high school, like I didn't have like the know-how. Like I was very financially irresponsible. And I learned so much in that class that I actually started a whole barber business on campus my sophomore year right after. And I learned how to finance my money. I was still a little reckless with the spending, but I saved a lot of money. And these are just things that I wouldn't have known without taking that class. So I think it's just very important for freshmen to take these classes at the beginning of their college transition and then graduating. Because like Zach mentioned, your credit score, renting and buying and things of that nature, these are things that prepare us for the real world. And I really would not be where I am financially if I didn't take that class. So that was very important, actually.
I will also add on to David. I took that course as well my freshman year, either spring or in the fall. And that's when I got introduced to Kevin. He was the professor for that course. And I actually came into Wells undecided. I did not know what I wanted to do at all. And definitely this course obviously gave me all those skills financially, but also it brought me into the business department. And at high school, I never took a business course. So this definitely, the course brought me into this amazing program. So definitely a really great course.
So I'm one of the professors of the course, and I think one of the unique aspects of how we teach personal financial management is we talk about goals. And a lot of other courses sort of just quickly address goals, because you have to have goals to understand what you want to do and make sure you achieve it. But we really spend a lot of time on it, and it relates to not only your personal finance and what you want to do, where you want to be, how do you want to retire, how are you going to do that? I'm still trying to figure that out too, but your personal life. And the really interesting aspect about this course is from the beginning, we talk about goals. And then at the end, the first semester, students said, they're like, wow, I'm much more able to deal with my semester and the finals week because I went back to my goals. I know how to set good goals. They felt more prepared, more under control, and they really appreciated that.
If I may just add,
You're muted, Kevin.
Sorry about that. My space bar stopped working. The cool thing as I look at the students today is they all took it when it was an elective course. It's now, there's been so much value with students who've completed it that said everyone should take this, that it's now a gen ed course. And for those listeners, it's not corporate finance, which Mary referred to. That's a whole different thing. This just goes over all kinds of different things to give you an introductory knowledge of everything. It includes even things like insurance. When do you need insurance? If you get a car, or maybe if you graduate from school and have an apartment, it doesn't cost much, but it matters if you have insurance or not. And so there are all kinds of different areas that they touch on. And then relative to the corporate finance, something completely different, of course. The interesting thing is for the listeners is if anyone is interested in that, we have 3 that I can think of just in the past 2 years, 3 students who graduated who are working on Wall Street. And 2 of those students did internships with investment banks on Wall Street after their junior years. And both of those students were different companies they worked for, but both of those students were then offered full-time positions and accepted them and went to work there. Actually, there's another student who contacted me yesterday because he's deciding what to do. He's with another investment bank and with the investment arm of BNY Mellon. And he was not thinking of going to grad school. He's been out for a couple of years, but some opportunity came up and he was offered a free ride to a grad school to pursue his MBA. He would also be a graduate assistant there for 2 years while he's doing it, which is a paid position. And then he said he could go back to his job that he has. But so that's an option too, if someone is interested in finance. And then another area that ties in with the personal finance is we have an investment group. And that investment group, due to a gift from an alum many years ago, more than 10 years ago, they have a sum of money, $100,000 to work with, actual cash money to work with to invest and to try to grow. That we leave up to the students. That's actually a student-run group. There's 1 or 2 faculty members that moderate that group and mentor them. And so sometimes it'll be each semester for the entire year. Other times it'll just be 1 semester, depending upon the group of students who are interested and their availability during a semester. So there are a number of options relative to finance and personal finance.
Absolutely. And that club is a lot of fun. I would also suggest while you're interested in that, also take our investments course. It was a really fun course where we got a sum of money, and throughout the whole entire semester, it was fake money, but we would either have to invest aggressively or not aggressively and really work through the different types of investing throughout the semester. And it really taught you a lot as you're losing your money or gaining it. And just having like that experience was a lot of fun, just to talk to everyone and see what they're doing and having that class discussion rather than just learning it by yourself from a textbook. We were actually doing it hands-on, and it was just a lot of fun to work through that.
Coincidentally, my family only allows me to use fake money too. Jehan, yes.
With these great courses that we have at Wells College for the business program, I also would like to give a kind of a heads up to those new students who are planning to join our college very soon, that analytics courses have become the talk of the town kind of thing, not only locally, but globally also. So introducing 2 classes right now. I've been teaching business analytics for the past 4 years. Very recently, the college approved for us to teach marketing analytics as well. Especially this demand for these kind of courses have increased a lot, especially after this global pandemic. Most of the people are demanded to go online and purchase, communicate, look for stuff, so on and so forth. So there are so many data points available out there for business students to capture them, analyze them, and make their business decisions. So those who are planning to join the business program will have the opportunity to take classes like marketing analytics, business analytics, and so on and so forth, for them to be great business leaders in the future in this country. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that is absolutely key. So I have a question I'm going to float for our current student and our alumni to think about, because we're talking with families and students who are thinking about their future, their next step. And you all are accomplished. You've gone through the educational process at Wells, and you've come out the other side, and you have pathways and directions, careers, aspirations. And I want you to think back to your senior year of high school as you were considering Wells, and think about where you are now versus where you were then. And so what about your experience at Wells was a surprise, or was something that you wish you would have known when you were considering or taking that next step? And so it's a long way of asking, what advice do you have for students who are on the brink of this decision and considering the prospect of attending Wells? Zach, you look like you want to say something.
Yeah, I know, thinking back, I mean, because for me, my senior year of high school is the most recent out of anybody in this call. But I just remember graduating high school and not really knowing what I wanted to do. In high school, I took a lot of calculus and physics classes, and then I came to Wells and decided, maybe I'll try out business. So that's no correlation there really at all. And specifically, Professor Kevin and Professor Jehan, I took 2 business classes with them my first semester at Wells, and I kind of just fell in love with business. And I was like, well, I think this is what I want to do. So, my advice is, don't put the pressure on yourself to know, and feel like you have to know what you want to do for the rest of your life as you graduate high school, because you have plenty of time to figure it out. And, going through the business major specifically, all of the professors in the major are very friendly. They're willing to work with you. Professor Jehan was my advisor, and him and I would meet and we would talk about if this is right for me, if it's not right for me. So just know, even if you don't know what you want to do in terms of a major, in terms of a career, Wells faculty and staff will help guide you through that, and they helped me find my way for sure.
I'll add on to Zach. So I was like in the same boat as Zach. I didn't know what I wanted to do, like I said before. And I think advice I would have if and when you choose Wells is that definitely take advantage of all the different opportunities they have to offer. Go talk to your advisors, mentors, friends, alumni, like anyone on campus. They know something and they have a connection for anyone on campus. So I would definitely say that. And there's so many different clubs, sports teams. There's just so much to do at Wells for how little the campus is. There's so many just different opportunities, like we've talked about, internships as well. So definitely take advantage of those. Don't be afraid to reach out to any of us. Yeah.
My piece of advice would be to have an open mind. When I was a senior in high school, I wanted to be like the marketing director of like a major corporation, because I had two internships previously. And then Professor Jehan was my advisor as well. And I had a lot of conversations with Kevin Miles, and this topic of entrepreneurship just kept popping up. Entrepreneurship, and then later in the spring, entrepreneurship weekend, and then the business competition. And these are things that I initially weren't very interested in, but I kept an open mind. And then 3 years later, I have my own photography business, and I was cutting hair during school. So these are things I didn't envision for myself when I was a senior in high school. So just being open and attending all of the events that's going on campus, definitely.
Yeah, everything I'd have to say just really echoes all the other alums and current students. When I was a senior in high school, I did know I wanted to go into business. I knew that's what I wanted a degree in, but I didn't know exactly what field I wanted to work in. And one thing I know is that our business degree at Wells is very versatile. You can use it in any field of business, and really what we're taught at Wells can be used anywhere. We're all doing very different things in our lives as alums, and our business degree helped prepare us for those. And as a senior, I didn't realize that I also didn't realize all the opportunities I could take and how many opportunities there were. Going into professors' offices and hearing what they had to say really helped. So take advantage of it. Take classes outside the business department. Take classes in our book arts center or anything. Play a sport, join a club. Wells is definitely a community where you can do much more than just be a business major. And our professors are there to support us in any of those endeavors. I remember as Professor G was one of my advisors as well, that I was like, I want to take a sailing class. And like all 4 years we were like, can we fit it in? And finally my senior year, I was like, yes, I'm taking the sailing class. And it was just a great day because I was like, it fits. And it, you know, just having those experiences and being able to share them with your professors and with your other classmates is really amazing. And being able to take advantage of them is great. So take advantage, step out of your comfort zone, do things that you never thought you would imagine you'd do.
Thank you, Mary. I want to leave one last space here for any final thoughts, especially from our faculty who weren't let in on that question. Erin.
I'll just say, you know, when I meet with advisees each semester, I always ask, like, you know, do you still want to be a business major? It's okay if you don't want to, but also what their passion is. And then I try to help them identify courses that are in their passion. So they can figure out, do they want a minor in visual arts? Do they want a double major in sustainability? Or do they want to switch completely? Or do they want to set themselves up because they're not sure which path they want to take? So that's something your personal relationship with your advisors, whether they're in business or any other department at Wells, will help you with that.
Thank you all. So I want to thank our panelists again for taking time out to join us today. And thank everyone for tuning in and listening and participating. We really mean it. We want you to reach out and connect with us individually. And so here in front of you, contact information for our panelists, and we're glad to engage in further conversation. I just want to remind everybody, June 1st is our extended deadline for submitting your enrollment confirmation, confirming your intention to enroll at Wells College. If you have any questions whatsoever, be in touch with us in the admission office and interact with us online. Our best wishes and enjoy the rest of this wonderful day. Take care.